Let's do it. WrestleMania 41. I'm just going to let you start, bro.
So, Saturday night one, outside of the main event, that was a glorified episode of Monday Night Raw. Holy crap. Honestly, I'm sorry. This past week's episode of AEW Dynamite was better than that. So on WrestleMania, I got El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Whereas on Dynamite, I got to see Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay. Are you kidding?
Yeah, and nobody really cares because it's a bunch of flips and kicks and 50 finishers and 50 kickouts and yay, and nothing will come from it. Yeah. Because it's a dream match.
Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay is... They've done that match 2 or 3 times on Dynamite, or no, on AEW at least, twice on pay-per-view. It's been fantastic every time. It did not miss this time either. By the way, the Cleveland Browns have informed Travis Hunter that he's going to be the pick. I just saw that from Adam Schefter. And I saw you just responded to that. But anyway... the main event, though, for night one, as much as I was crapping on it, I very much enjoyed it. I did, even though CM Punk was involved. He's proving me wrong. I'll give him that. My favorite part of that match was that Roman couldn't resist hitting Seth Rollins with the chair. He keeps having that flashback. I absolutely love it that Seth is able to constantly hang that over Roman's head. I thought that was perfect. That was my favorite part of that match, bar none. I know the Paul Heyman spots were big, but for me, that chair shot was just perfect long-term storytelling.
Yeah, you just got parody. That was not an Adam Schefter account. That was a parody. By the way, but I do agree with you. And what did I say going into WrestleMania? I said the clue was already written when Seth Rollins told Paul Heyman that he owed him a favor. The turn was set in that Paul Heyman was going to screw CM Punk. Paul Heyman was going to screw Roman Reigns. Now, did I think he was going to get in the ring and physically deliver a low blow to both competitors? No, but I did think a curb stomp from Rollins to Roman Reigns to end the match after a beautiful storytelling. What I thought you can make an argument, possibly a top 5 WrestleMania match of all time. I thought it was that good. I thought those guys killed each other flat out for 30 minutes. My favorite spot was when Punk hit the go to sleep on Rollins, Reigns hit the spear on Punk, and Rollins then hit the curb stomp on Reigns. Back-to-back-to-back finishers in succession. Kick out by Roman after Rollins eliminated Punk from the ring. Pure freaking cinema, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
My other, I know obviously I thought higher of night one than you did. A lot of people are complaining about Stratton and Flair. I actually liked the match. I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was perfect for their rivalry. It was a fight. And the whole storyline of the match was who could hit their moonsault first. And Charlotte kept going for her moonsault, kept going for her moonsault, kept going for her moonsault. Couldn't connect until eventually Tiffany Stratton was able to hit that knee, bang, do the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Tiffany Stratton retained the Women's Championship. Queen as a whistle over Charlotte Flair. And I agree with Michael Cole. That was a moment maker for Tiffany Stratton. She is younger than you and I. And she entered WrestleMania 41 defending the Women's Championship. And she is going to have a Charlotte Flair-esque career. She is going to be a star in this business. That was a star-making moment.
So, I texted you and our friend C-Boss says, I think I did anyway. Charlotte Flair was actually willing to put over Tiffany Stratton. What is this? I've never heard of this. Why didn't you do that with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36?
Because it wasn't Rhea's time yet. Clearly at WrestleMania 39, it was Rhea's time, but Rhea was so young back then.
Yeah, but I know they wanted Charlotte on NXT because NXT was in a war with AEW at that time. There were other ways, to put Charlotte on on NXT without giving her the championship. I'm sorry, but anyway, in terms of night 2, I didn't get to see all the matches, but I saw enough.
The triple threat match, they absolutely killed it. I got to give Io, Rhea, Bianca their flowers, and I'm not the biggest fan of Io Sky. That was fantastic. Dom, Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, and Penta absolutely killed it as well. The spear spot, the only thing I didn't like was the finish was basically the same finish as the women's triple threat match. I even liked Joe Hendry appearing and being Randy Orton's opponent. I thought that was a really cool spot, really cool moment. I was disappointed in the AJ Styles Logan Paul match only because I had bigger expectations for it. And once we found out that Bayley was no longer going to compete, you knew it was going to be Becky Lynch. You knew they were going to put the titles on them for at least one night, which we'll get to here in a moment. And then we get to the most talked about match potentially on this card, night 2 main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, and it only took 17 times for John Cena to ruin wrestling. And John Cena ruined wrestling by coming out to the ring with no video board, no nothing, just black and white, coming down to the ring. And the match, up until the interference, I would say was okay. It wasn't great. I'll give you that.
You had all these promo battles, and that was the match you gave us?
Well,
seriously?
Remember, you know what John Cena's character is? John Cena don't give a fuck about us. John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. He don't care about having a good wrestling match. John Cena, after the match, outside of his AAs and his great hits, was running away from Cody Rhodes. Because John Cena, the whole reason why he wanted to sell is so everybody was texting me, why was The Rock not involved? Why did John Cena sell his soul to The Rock? John Cena made it very clear why he sold his soul to the final boss. It was never about The Rock, folks. It was only about winning the 17th World Heavyweight Championship by any means necessary. And he saw the opportunity to work with The Rock to attack Cody Rhodes, to have a non-wrestler in Travis Scott help him win the Undisputed Championship. It's the most heelish John Cena shit you could think of.
I'm sorry, but if that was your WrestleMania, all AEW double or nothing has to do is just step over the bar. Not even jump.
Guess how many people are going to see that, Josh? 500,000 people. There are millions and millions and millions of people watching WrestleMania. They had over 1.1 billion social views. It's not, you could have the greatest show since sliced bread. I don't give a fuck. They probably will have better wrestling because that's what AEW is catered to. This WrestleMania was never about the wrestling. It was not. We had a bunch of young stars on WrestleMania for the first time this year. Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, Tiffany Stratton, Penta, Ray Phoenix, even your
Which he wasn't even supposed to be in that match, by the way.
Exactly. But you have all of these people, including like the other girls like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky that's relatively still young in their careers. This WrestleMania, and it was even more clear from what we saw last night on Raw, in my opinion. This WrestleMania was not about the in-ring action, about starting stories and all these moments. This was about finishing up storylines and setting up the future for the next year.
I thought WrestleMania is supposed to be the showcase of the Immortals, put on these amazing matches and create WrestleMania moments. That's what I thought WrestleMania was all about.
I think personally, we have been spoiled by the fact that besides this Mania, you can make an argument the last bad Mania we had was 34. That's a long time. That's 7 years. We've added duds of WrestleManias. WrestleMania is like the Super Bowl, right? Some years we get blowouts, some years we get great. This WrestleMania was not the best WrestleMania of all time, especially when you compare it to 40, 39, 38, 37, 35. I'll discount 36 because it didn't have fans. Those 4 straight WrestleManias were considered some of the best WrestleManias in the last 15, 20 years. So if this WrestleMania felt like a dud, it probably should have been, because most of the matches were predictable and they weren't going to be these all-time great matches. It was about setting up what Monday Night Raw looked like. I give you, could some things could have been better? Absolutely. Should Jay and Gunther probably should have had a better match? Yes. Should Cena and Cody probably could have had some more antics? Yes. But if they did that, it probably would have felt like a repeat of last year.
That part is true, but like, given how much they built up that match, I thought it was going to be longer. Not quite as long as what we got with the triple threat at night 1, but like a somewhat long match.
You know what made me think? I don't think I texted you this. I might have texted another friend of mine this. On Friday, I was very interested, first of all, that the crowd booed the hell out of Cody Rhodes, and then obviously he got the crowd back on his side. But when John Cena said, "I don't need to wrestle to beat you," my first thought was, Cena's going to win this belt in 15 seconds.
I mean, that's what Becky Lynch did when she came back against Bianca.
The ultimate heel move from Cena would have been his last WrestleMania appearance is like a low blow or an attack from behind in AA, and he's champion.
Yeah. And by the way, knowing that Backlash is in St. Louis, it was so obvious they were going to do Randy Orton.
Who cares? Give me Orton Cena again. I don't care about the obvious. That's the difference, I think, between you and me. I want everything be obvious. I want to see this damn match. I'm pumped as hell for this.
No, you didn't let me finish. Like, it's going to be a good match. Right? Cena's going to cheat to win, obviously. And I'm liking this heel gimmick. I didn't say in this case that the obvious thing was a bad thing.
Well, you're making it sound like you're like, well, obviously.
No, in this case, I actually like that. Did this WrestleMania push me further and last week's episode of Dynamite push me further into AEW's camp? Yes, it did. Which I'm sorry, but that is the truth. Am I going to go around?
You can have your opinion on all you want. I don't really care. I'll be honest with you. I do think this. I think what hurt this WrestleMania was that it was a longer build than it should have been. I think if this show had 2 weeks shorter a build like it usually does, it would have been a better show. I think that WWE really took their time. They sort of milked the storylines. Some guys weren't on TV for a while. It took some time for some superstars to get their WrestleMania feud. Like, nothing did feel connected. It did not feel as WrestleMania worthy as WrestleMania 40 or 39 or 38 again.
Right. For example, why did we do the Raw tag team titles on WrestleMania, but the TLC match is for the SmackDown tag team titles is happening on SmackDown? Reverse that.
I'll tell you why. Because the New Day turning heel is a storyline thing that you need to pay off at WrestleMania, where the TLC match can get 30 to 45 minutes on TV on SmackDown, be the main event, not be worn down by a WrestleMania crowd. If this was a night one Mania, sure, you could do it if it was one night and you don't have all these other storylines. But because of the fact that you have so many of these big matches that you are portraying on television, you do need a cool down match in there somewhere. And the New Day being there at WrestleMania to cheat and be there on that stage is different than guys like DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits, who theoretically will have more WrestleManias in their future. We don't know if the New Day is going to have more WrestleManias in their future.
That match didn't feel like WrestleMania worthy. El Grande versus Rey Fenix didn't feel WrestleMania worthy. Even if Rey Mysterio had been there, that felt like a Monday Night Raw match, not WrestleMania. Because I just don't care about that whole storyline. Sorry, I don't.
Again, I think this year they were not going for WrestleMania worthy. I think they were going for more storyline based and wrapping up storylines, because last night's Raw set a new direction for WWE. This is a new company. We have new storylines. Everything is fresh pretty much. There was not one thing old on last night's show.
I do like that Roxanne Perez was finally back. I don't know why she just randomly disappeared. And she was on the freaking kickoff show match for Stand and Deliver, which is BS. She is not a 0-hour kickoff show wrestler. She belongs on the main card.
Why don't you get a job in the writer's room then and go on WWE Unreal, the new Netflix documentary that's coming out, and pitch it?
I wish I could, but there's no way I could get a job with creative. But anyway.
One day I will be, trust me, and you will hate all the storylines I write. I'll make sure El Grande Americano was booked to win the Royal Rumble just for you.
I'll probably be way involved with AEW by then. But anyway, which I'm loving everything they're doing with the Death Riders and the Elite. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I've told you this before, and I'm not taking shots at you. Truly, I believe you are the only person that likes the Death Rider storyline.
I don't give a shit. I've loved it since the
beginning. You don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. That's why wrestling is the greatest form of entertainment on God's green earth, because wrestling, it is niche and it's not niche at the same time. And people like Fitz don't understand it, and people like us think it's the world.
But I think that's part of the reason why I didn't love this WrestleMania is because WWE leaned more into that entertainment side, whereas with AEW and their pay-per-views, they typically lean more into the sports side of things with their matches that usually go at 100 miles per hour and just nonstop action. I will give you this. I know the Jey Uso and Gunther match didn't quite go the way I thought it did, but I personally enjoyed it. That was one of the night one matches I actually liked.
I thought it did its job. I thought having Jey come down from all the way up there took the wind out of it. It took him like 10 minutes to get down to the ring. I am more stoked for this Gunther Pat McAfee feud that is happening.
I don't know if it's good. See, that's the thing. I'm not sure it's going to turn into a Pat McAfee Gunther feud necessarily.
Oh, I think it's going to be a match, 100%. Whether it's at Backlash or Money in the Bank, I think we're getting a feud here. I think we're getting a match. Pat even called out Gunther today on his show. Like, I think it's happening, and I love it, and I think it makes perfect sense. They've been building to this. Pat McAfee dancing during Jey Uso's entrance. Gunther getting pissed off. Michael Cole saying announcers can't have opinions anymore. Gunther being the one who respects this great sport so much that people like Pat McAfee who dance and act like idiots and don't believe in this great sport. I'm interested to see the direction they go here with Gunther, because very similar to Rhea Ripley, both of these participants have not been in a championship non-title feud in a long time, and it looks like they may be both getting out of the title.
I don't agree with you about Rhea Ripley because she.
No, she will. I don't think she's going to challenge Io right away. She did give her the championship. Maybe they do a backlash match. I don't know. But it sort of feels like to me maybe Rhea goes away from the title for a bit and then comes back.
I do like that they have, if they keep Roxy and Julia on the main roster, I like the two of them as heels together. If Survivor Series War Games wasn't so far away, I would pitch like you do, have Roxy and Julia, and you could build up the team, go against Io, Stephanie McCurr, build up the rest of the team, and you do that blood and guts or War Games match.
I love that. War Games is going to be at Petco Park in San Diego. That's going to look sick. Outside at a baseball stadium in freaking November.
Yes. But I think that would have been a cool War Games match. But that's obviously not going to be it. But anyway, I do like that. And like I said, when they made it clear Becky was coming back, you're just like, yep, she's going to turn heel on Lyra. And the Women's Intercontinental Championship needs it because Lyra's great as a wrestler, but she hasn't had any feuds.
She has no character. She has no mouthpiece. She reminds me of a lot of the guys and girls in AEW who can wrestle and just have no character, to be honest with you. Speaking of somebody who just came from AEW, by the way, Josh, it is indeed Rusev Day again because Miro is dead. Rusev is back, and Rusev Day has been reborn, and thank God it's under this administration now, because I can see very clearly in this man's future one day becoming a mid-card champion in WWE, and who knows, maybe even with this TNA partnership they have now, maybe even Aiden English brings him down to the ring and they recreate the entire Rusev gimmick. I don't know, I would love it.
He's back where he belongs. Not that I liked him in AEW, but I don't know if it was that he didn't like the creative or it's the same thing with Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints, whatever. The water's so murky. I don't know who's telling the truth, who's not. As long as, like, I'm going to call him Miro because that's how I know him. But as long as he's happy in WWE, good for him. Like, I want him to succeed because I enjoyed him in AEW, but it seems like he's happier in WWE. That's great for him. Aleister Black is probably coming back on Friday for SmackDown. You know what? I'm cool with that. Did I like what he did in AEW? Yes. But if he's going to do better in SmackDown with WWE, so be it. I was a huge fan of Ricky when he was in AEW. But if he ends up doing great in WWE and NXT, awesome. Like, I could say the same thing about Ethan Page. What I will say, though, is I think the reason Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, who is now Ricky Saints, obviously, both got the reactions they did when they came into NXT is a lot of that credit has to go to AEW. That's how wrestling fans, like, really got to know those two.
Well, yeah, nobody's denying. That's why Cody Rhodes was so successful as he did, because of AEW. It's just now they've got the WWE machine behind him. And as the final boss would say, it doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. It only matters what the fuck the final boss is thinking. And for the record of this John Cena, Cody Rhodes storyline, as I've been telling you the last couple of days, Josh Ungar, we're only in the third inning of this shit. We got what he said last night, 27 more dates. We got 7 more months to go of John Cena trying to ruin wrestling.
That's right. And John Cena's going to cheat to win in Randy Orton's hometown. And there's going to be so much booing. It's not even funny, but we'll see. We got Jon Moxley calling out Samoa Joe over on AEW. That's going to be awesome. We got a Double or Nothing coming up. Anarchy in the Arena. It's going to be bonkers because it always is with AEW. They don't know what it means to have a bad Anarchy in the Arena. For God's sakes, Jack Perry was set on fire. And Darby Allin was hung upside down. AEW goes to crazy lengths. I expect them to do it again, and we'll see what happens.
Basically, if you want to watch crazy, unsafe shit that you're not even sure the participant's body should be doing that, go to TBS and TNT and pay-per-view every couple of months.